I'll say this. I do agree with you. I think that she was a little out of pocket with getting that aggravated over something like that. But he had been keeping other stuff from her, when he's like, oh yeah, this is my uncle, and she's like, but he's white, and when were you going to tell me that your uncle was Rocky Balboa? So it was kind of this domino effect of, yo, what else are you keeping from me?
What are these secrets, man?
Yeah. I like the last question. She's like, because he's like, no more lies from now on, it's all truth. And she's like, how many girls have you been, or how many women have you been with before me? And he's like, no, we're not playing that game.
Yeah, they have a good connection in these movies, man. I like Tessa Thompson. I can't wait to see her in Love and Thunder. Coming soon, but yeah. She plays a good support role, just like what was Rocky's wife's name?
Yeah, hers was Adrian. That's
Adrian,
the name.
yeah.
That's
Adrian.
the name of the restaurant. That's what it was. That's what it was called.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
It's called Adrian's.
Yo, Adrian,
Yeah, nice.
we did it.
Hey, yo, Adrian, we did it.
Yo, and we forgot a very, very big part of the end. So we kind of close out, Creed's story. He's on top, on track to being, one of the top fighters. And then they do the historic, they run to the top of that building, or they're walking because Rocky's older, obviously. And then he also gets to go visit, because there's talk of, in the film, that obviously, as they cover in Rocky Balboa a few years back, that he has a son who is kind of tired of being in Rocky's shadow, so he moves to, I believe, Vancouver, not interested in boxing. He has his, he wants to do his own thing, which is also why I think that Rocky kind of takes to Creed and kind of embraces him as a son as well, you know what I mean? Because he has that element kind of missing in his life at that point. But we get to see Rocky go, visit his son for the first time in a long time, and he gets to meet basically the family for the first time. So that's also a great way, like James was saying last week, where that could be the explanation as to why Rocky steps out of the picture for Creed 3 if he doesn't return. He's busy with his, son, and
he found family again.
Yeah, reconciled with his the last remaining, family members, which is an awesome. If we don't see him anymore, that's an awesome send off for Balboa. Anyway,
I think so. I think let him just be there for his family. You can't interrupt that. I think Michael Adonis would know that. You know what I mean? Because it's something that he noticed himself is missing. You can't just block that, you know what I mean? That's like you can't treat Rocky like you're your girlfriend, you know what I mean? He's a grown man, he's gonna do it. And imagine if they make the third Creed, he gets a new coach, maybe somebody we'll all like, somebody new, who knows? But if he wins that fight, imagine that'll show Adonis is a good fighter, and there's also other coaches out there for him, They could just touch on that. I think they should do it. Maybe we can get a small, maybe Rocky will come back in for maybe 10 minutes in the movie and then out, you know what I mean? Nothing too serious, maybe. We'll see what happens.
Like a little cameo or something, phone call, something like that.
Creed, man. And it's all Creed from here, dude, unless they do Mr. T, son. Or some shit. But it's exciting that he's directing it, right? This is all him now?
Yeah, directorial debut, which is, wow, man. I can't imagine that pressure. I'd be like, oh, give me something else. I don't understand.
he'd be like how he was in the movie, and he's like, take my gloves off. I'm going to take a shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny, dude. I could feel that because I used to do Roman Greco wrestling. And then it'd be one of the things where they were like, you better do it now and also before the weigh-in and like all that shit. It's just nerve-wracking. Fighting, wrestling, any type of sports. Always get my legs shaking when I play sports, like serious sports, not like, oh, I'm gonna play with my friends. Like, this is like on record and shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's either a dub or a loss. Like, it gets you nervous, man. I mean, I think Afro used to play football. I don't know if you played. What you play sports, Wes? Let's tell you this.
Actually, boxing and MMA I trained.
Sick.
Yeah. That's about it. I loved basketball as a kid, but I never played like on any teams or anything. Just training for me.
Nice, man. That's good. I never really touched on like what sports you played. I hardly talk about that stuff anymore. Oh, these movies can make us talk about our sports past and shit. Like,
yeah, well, I think that's a point of podcasts is to let the conversation, go where it wants. And nobody wants to just hear us spitting facts and regurgitated shit we heard on the internet only. They want to hear what we have to say, our personal experiences.
Yeah.
That's what makes the show.
Yes, it does. So I think is this it for Creed? Are we going to facts or?
Yeah,
you guys have more to say?
I got a few facts if you guys want to knock them out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Swan facts. All right, Swan facts. Carl Weathers, who actually played the original Apollo Creed many years ago, gave Michael B. Jordan and the film as a whole his complete blessing, praising the film and his performance.
Nice.
That's cool.
It's always a good feeling.
Imagine if he hated it. Wow.
He'd be like, no, I don't like this movie. Don't do another one.
Take my name off this. No. This marks the first entry in the Rocky series that was not penned entirely by Sylvester Stallone himself.
Yeah, because I know he did write all of them, all the other ones, right?
Yeah. Did you guys know that the first Rocky... So, I think Sylvester Stallone, as funny as this sounds, I think he started out in adult films. And
he did one adult film, I think, before he got big.
Yeah. And then he wrote Rocky. He tried to sell the script, and they were like, all right, well, we'll buy it from you. And he's like, yeah. But the thing is that I'm only going to sell you the script if I can star as Rocky. And it took them a long time. They said they didn't want him,
because of his image.
Yeah, I think just
you're not too good. You're not too good looking. You're not star quality, kid.
Which is funny because I feel like Sylvester Stallone, he became that kind of like rugged action superstar in the vein of Arnold Schwarzenegger or
he did like that 5 o'clock Shadow where he looked like a badass. He's gonna just fucking
he did tons of
steal your girl.
Tons of
and they have a small feud, like a action star feud,
Mm-hmm.
Small, but they kind of like bicker and stuff with each other. So,
although Pretty Ricky Conlon was a fictional character, the actor behind him, a famous boxer from Liverpool, his name is Tony the Bomber Bello.
Oh, sick. Tony Bomber.
This also marks the longest film in the entire franchise. For
longest film?
Yeah, the longest running film because it's 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yes, it's well paced, honestly.
Yeah, it doesn't feel long at all.
Yeah, it doesn't drag whatsoever, and I think part 2 is pretty long as well. But it feels good. You know, you don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
And then was my final one. There was actually 2 different conclusions of the film shot at the same time.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they shot the one where he does win and the one where he doesn't. That would make sense to me. Or maybe
what ifs Rocky?
Maybe a draw. Not sure, but
That would have been cool.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just saying that. I wonder if that, because I have both of them on Blu-ray. I wonder if that's in a deleted scene or something, or like a bonus features or whatever.
Yeah, check it out and then get back to us with that.
I will.
Homework for James Warney.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up.
Mine.
That wraps up Swan Facts for this episode, guys.
Yeah, very nice.
Short and sweet, but it was very good.
You're an actor, you do all the training, you're in phenomenal shape, you're thinking, great, I'm going to go in to pretend to be a boxer, but then they cast you opposite real boxers.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of cruel.
It's not cruel. It makes it believable. We need real fighters in there to really sell it, honestly. And, Florian's great. He was a pro fighter in Romania, and Sly found him online. He had these crazy workout montages where he was like, bicep curling pit bulls and doing all types of crazy workouts. And he's like 6'5", 240 pounds. He's a massive, massive human being. And it worked because, Dolph was way taller than Sly. And that kind of David and Goliath kind of feel, we wanted to kind of reenact that and reimagine that one. So it fit. It made it make sense.
Yeah, but in the first film, that was also a real boxer.
Yeah,
right?
Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
And there's that famous clip. It obviously didn't make it to the film. So explain what happened. So it was Sylvester Stallone's fault.
Yeah, I mean, Sly enjoys putting me through punishment. He really does. He's so mischievous. But in the Rocky films, it's like a badge of honor to take a real punch. And when you do slow-mo shots, you can't fake it, because if you did a slow-mo shot and it was a miss, you would see the space and it just wouldn't connect. So you have to take a real punch. And Sly was like, he was sitting in the corner, he was pacing, he was kind of looking like, nah, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And he finally gets up and says, Mike, listen, you got to take a real punch. And I'm like, oh, okay, did you do it? He said, yeah, I did. I did it a bunch of times. I was like, okay, if you did it, I'll do it. And we ended up setting up the cameras, and I took a real punch.
So this is Michael B. Jordan taking a real punch in the first film. Here we go.
Background's watching, and action.
Yeah.
Boom. That's like...
Were you knocked out?
The crazy thing was...
he was fine.
I wasn't technically knocked out, but the shot was I got hit and I went down, and then the camera panned in. It was on Steadicam, and it panned in, and it was it was in slow motion. And the first time we did it, Tony's glove was in the way, so we didn't see it, right? So they didn't see it at all, so we had to do it again. So we did it the second time, and I got hit, and I could feel the energy of the crowd, of everybody that was in the studio, and I was like, all right, it must have really looked good because everybody's quiet. I could literally hear a pin drop in there. And I was just hoping the producers didn't run in and just say cut because they thought I was really hurt. Because I was definitely seeing stars. Like, it was definitely not, I was not all there, smelling the canvas and everything. I'll never forget it. It smelled like pine sol. It was insane. But I took a real punch. It felt like I was in a car accident for like 4 days afterwards. Tony said he only went 40%. It felt like 85. It was tough. It was tough.
Because Steve, you've had experience being knocked out, haven't you?
Yes,
yeah,
I have.
But not in a fight?
No, I played ice hockey, and I was a goalie, and I got hit with a puck and was knocked out. We were up in Canada playing a team up there, and when you travel, you tend to stay at someone else's house, like the other goalie's family. I stayed with their family. So their family ran out onto the ice to see if I was okay. Said, Steve, what's my name? And I had no idea what his name was.
That's funny.
And I said, I don't know. They're like, oh my God.
It looks like we're gonna need to know what movie we're doing next week.
All right, so
what would you guys rate this one? Because I want to get the ratings. We didn't do that yet.
All right.
I would personally probably give this one. I give it a 9. I think it's it's an all-around great movie. Not perfect, but a 9. I think it warrants a 9. So for me, at least.